What's up, y'all? Happy Saturday. How are you? How are you feeling? What's going on? Let me know in the comments. Not she back after a week. Well, I am. I hope that you all had the opportunity to check out last week's video. It was good to me, okay? And I decided to share it with y'all just like I have a message for you all today. And while you're typing in the comments, let me know where you're tuning in from and you're joining me from and how you're feeling today because I need to know. I talk back, okay? But have you ever come across something, a revelation? You read something and you're like, oh my gosh, or like you have discovered something, or you've gotten like a whole brand new meaning from something that you've probably heard your entire life. Okay, well, this is one of those messages, okay? And it was too good to keep it to myself, so I decided to come up here and share it with y'all. I pray by the end of this live that, or video rather, that you all take away what it is I'm trying to give y'all. And maybe the Lord will give you your own revelation from it, your own takeaways as well. But nonetheless, here we are on a Saturday night. Just me and whoever else is tuning in. Thank you. Because you could be anywhere else in the world, but you decided to click on my video, and I appreciate that. Make sure you share this with somebody as well, just in case they need to hear this message as well. Well, have you all, okay, I know y'all have, but let me just get to it. Okay, so we have all at some point heard the saying, a tree is known by the fruit that it bears, right? And we're that tree in a sense. We're the branches connected to the vine, which is God, right? And we are supposed to be producing good fruit. In the world, we are supposed to stand out. We are the good that's going on in the world. We are sharing the good things, right? The noble things, the kind things, the gentle things, all of that good stuff, right? And so I happened to come across the word fructify. I hope I'm saying that right. Lord knows. And I find nothing a coincidence, right? So when I saw it, I was like, okay, all right. And so fructify means to bear fruit and to become fruitful. Yes, like I said, we have all heard this before. We know it's in the Bible. The Lord said, be fruitful and multiply. Like I said, a tree is known by the fruit that it bears. All of those things, all of those scriptures, the word, even in fact, that we have heard about being fruitful, okay? And it's not, fruitful isn't just, children, your offspring, and multiplying it. That is a form of being fruitfulness, but you can be fruitful in business. You can be fruitful in the relationships that you have. You can be fruitful in so many other ways, right? But nonetheless, it means to increase. It means to multiply. It means to expand, right? And so that's something that we know. But I wanted to delve a little deeper. So I just was like, okay, well, we are to be fruitful. How do we get to the point of being fruitful, right? What does it take? So I start thinking about things in the natural sense, okay? And then we'll get to the spiritual. So in the natural, when it comes to a tree actually bearing fruit, or a plant producing this good fruit, we know that pollination has to take place. So in order for pollination to take place, there's a transfer that happens, right? Follow me, y'all. There's a transfer that happens from one thing to the other. And also, there has to be an increase in the green spaces where this pollination is happening. And there has to be a reduction, meaning going down in the pesticides and the harmful substances that could turn this fruit into something bad. Because how many of you all know that fruit is going to produce? It can be bad fruit or it can be good fruit, but it's going to produce. And so we want the good fruit, right? And so then I dug a little deeper. So, okay, so we want to be fruitful. We want to multiply. We want to increase. We know that pollination, which is the transfer from one thing to another, has to take place. We want to increase the green and decrease the pesticides, the harmful substances, right? And so I just was like, okay, well, let me look into it. You said increase the green. So what do you mean specifically by the green? So I started to look up. Y'all, I looked it up, green, right? And you're probably like, girl, why you look up the word green? We know what green is. It's a color, right? Not only is it a color, but it's almost twofold, right? So when you think about the color green, we'll go with the one side first, one side of it first, the good side. So you think about the word green. The world uses go green, right? Because that's the way to support the earth, to make it better. You follow me? Then you also have green is supposed to represent strong and being vigorous in the world. And then I dug a little bit deeper and I found that green also meant the giving of spiritual guidance, to be apostolic, churchly, or ministerial, which is to have a ministry. So I found that to be very, very, very interesting. But like anything, right? Like anything, because we know that the enemy copies or tries to copy everything that God has. God has a wonderful blueprint for your life, and the enemy has a blueprint for your life. Okay, so whatever God does, he tries to mimic it, but it's for the bad. It's for his gain in a bad way. Okay, so we have the good meaning of going green. Like I said again, because I want you to keep this in mind, it means vigorous, it means to be strong, right? Green represents the earth, it represents supporting the earth in a good way, okay, to eliminate any type of contamination or pollution. Green, money is green, okay? So we have that form of being green. So then you have, I looked a little bit further, green, right? And I'm going to preface the bad with this. So my very first, girl, how I even plug him in this story, but my very first boyfriend, y'all, my very first boyfriend, I was just exploring what it's like, I guess, to quote unquote live and to be on my own. I had never had a boyfriend ever in life, and he was my very first boyfriend, and he used to always say, when it came to certain things, he'd be like, Tori, you so green. Like, you so green. Like, that was my remembrance of the word green. He would be like, you are so, you green. Like, oh my gosh, you so green. So anyway, his way of saying it was like, you're so gullible. Like you don't even know, you can't even perceive, depending on what the situation is, like you don't even foresee what that really is. You don't even know what's going on. You don't realize what people are actually trying to do. You don't realize what people are actually saying. So it's a form of being naive. It's a form of being gullible. It's a form of being inexperienced and considered to be immature when it comes to certain areas. And he could tell when it came to certain things, because one, baby, we grew up totally different. I mean, it was very apparent. And but it didn't stop me from talking to him. But that's another story. But we grew up very different, and it was very apparent to him the more that we were together. Like, girl, like, okay. I mean, I know you hadn't had any real quote unquote exposure, but good girl. So, but I didn't like it when he used to say it, but the older I got, the more I started to see, and the things that I was, I guess, introduced to, or the things that I started to see, I think I got it along, well, not even think, I know I got it along the way. I was, honey, talking about green, I was green to talk to you, but we not going back. We not moving backwards. We're moving forward. This is, a story I'm trying to get out. But I'm trying to get you all to see the other side of green, right? So we know green to be a good thing. We know green to be a not good thing. Like I said, unseasoned, immature, inexperienced, gullible to certain things. And then you have the other green that I talked about, where it means you're strong, you're vigorous, you're supporting. It's a good thing. We look for the green fruit. We look for the ripe fruit, right? And so it's twofold. This is what you need to be fruitful. Keep that in mind. So like I said, to be fruitful, you have the pollination that takes place, the transferring of one thing to another. And I consider that to be Holy Spirit, where Holy Spirit comes in and to help us to transfer from the ways of the world or our normal way of thinking, and to transfer into the way that God created us to think, right? You can look at it that way as well, or perhaps God will give you another revelation for it. But that's what I'm giving y'all on today. And so in order to have this good fruit, because like I said, you're getting fruit either way. It's going to be bad and rotten, or it's actually going to be good fruit. You have to increase your green. I just went over what greens were. And then you have to minimize the amount of pesticides. Okay, so this was in the natural, but then I'm going into the spiritual as well, if you are following me. So you have to reduce this life that we are living on this green earth that God created. You have to reduce the amount of contamination, which is the pesticides. You have to reduce that. You have to reduce the bad things. You have to reduce the warped perceptions that have been put out into the earth. You have to reduce all of that if you want to produce this fruit that God is talking about, that is going to continue to increase, that is going to continue to multiply, that's going to be good, and it's going to be perpetual, which is a ever evolving continuous thing. If you want it to be good, you got to keep the contamination out. You got to keep the bad things out, y'all. I hope y'all following me. I hope y'all following what's going on. So what are you going to do? Which green are you going to be? Lord, please don't be the green that Tori was back in the day. Don't be green. Don't be green. Ask God to reveal to you certain things, certain situations in people. Indeed. Yes, indeed. Like Aunt Marie used to say, that was my Aunt Marie favorite saying. Yes, indeed. Ask God to reveal to you what is really good. Ask him to examine the seeds that are in you, because we know they are going to produce. Some of us have produced bad seeds, and we know that they fall to the ground, they wither away, they don't continue on, and it's okay. And and the only reason I say it's okay, because if you're still here, you have another chance, you have another opportunity to start your planting over, to make sure your foundation and your soil, that's what I was talking about last week, the different soils, to make sure your soil is right, to make sure that whatever seeds you are planting, that you know when your harvest comes, that it is going to be good fruit, ripe, ready, okay, and that it is going to continue to multiply in all the areas of your life. We don't want the bad fruit. We don't want the contaminated fruit. Think about it in the natural. Have you ever bitten into a rotten apple and you spit that thing out? It's brown or black in the middle? Or what about a banana when it turns like completely black? I know it's supposed to get, darker, and that's the best state to eat it in, but I'm talking about when it's black, y'all. Y'all ever let it sit that long? Not on purpose. I ain't do it on purpose, but my bananas have, they didn't set a while, and I had to throw them away. Or what about the one bad piece of fruit that spreads to the other fruit, and now you throw the whole thing away because it's become contaminated? You didn't keep the pesticides out. You didn't keep the bad things out. I hope y'all getting this in the natural and the spiritual. So we want to decrease the pesticides, the contamination. You want to increase your green. What's around you? Who's around you? What are you listening to? What are you reading? What are you doing to make sure that you are producing good fruit? What are you doing to make sure that when your harvest comes, that it's good? What are you putting out? What are you getting back from what you're putting out? Is it good or is it bad? So I ask you, which green are you going to be? Are you going to be the good green? Or are you going to be the other green? It's up to you. I hope this lesson, this teaching, this video, however y'all want to look at these things. I just come up here to share what I feel like is good to me and that would be good to you, but to help encourage you all, to help uplift you all, to help give you hopefully a better understanding. Sometimes we read the word and it goes over our head. Sometimes we don't quite understand exactly what we're reading, and I always ask and pray for revelation, and I found in doing so that I enjoy sharing that revelation with you all to hopefully help you all understand a little bit better too. That you're not like me, like, what, like, huh, what are you talking about? Let me read that again. But I just wanted to share that with you all. I am going to make sure I insert in the description box or the information box, however they refer to it, some scriptures that talks about bearing good fruit and what also happens to the to the bad fruit, or to the trees or the branches that are not producing any good fruit. What happens to it? I'll make sure I plug that in there because I want y'all to read it for yourself. And see if you all maybe perhaps get a different revelation. I'm not going to hold you. I'm not going to go any further. But I hope this has been, I pray that this has been a blessing to you. As always, be blessed, be encouraged. And y'all, guess what? Y'all know I got that. Guess what? I have a guest for next week. Stay tuned as I send out the announcement or the flyer for that. It is not going to be on the typical Tuesday. This week is actually, I want to say it's going to be on Thursday. Don't hold me to it. I have to double check, but I know for sure that it is going to be next week. So I want y'all to be ready for that. Tune in. Like I said, drop me some comments. Y'all just be sitting here looking. I can see, I can't necessarily see everybody that has looked at the video, but I know somebody has viewed it. And then y'all don't even leave a girl a message like some of y'all do, and I appreciate you, but I want y'all to, let me know what's going on, how you feel about it. So, as always, be blessed, be encouraged, and I'll see y'all next week with the good testimony. Share this with somebody that needs to hear it. Ask them, are they green or are they green? They're going to know what you're talking about. Hopefully they're thinking of the good green and not the, naive green or gullible green. But nonetheless, you're going to share with them this message either way. So, all right. Bye.